With Microsoft Office Excel, there are very few limits to what you can achieve if you have the interest and just a little bit of creativity. What you see here is a dashboard. If you're familiar with dashboards, then you should know the importance that they play in analyzing results. I am an HR professional and I've been one for some time now. My team and I recognize the importance of being able to analyze and track recruitment and retention at the most efficient level, and our automated tracking system allows us that possibility. To be perfectly honest, the tracking system that I currently use has more features than what you see here. However, that is only because I built upon it over time. I'm sure that will be the same for you. So in the future, I will be providing tutorials on my website at www.jhworks.net that will show you how to add onto your system as needed. But in the meantime, this is a free automated tracking system that I hope will suffice for your basic need, and look forward to my tutorials going forward. So let's get started with me showing you how it works. So being that we're on the dashboard, this is where we will start. As you can see, we have the candidates hired and declined for the current period, and we have the total interviews hired and declines year to date. What we have here are 6 people that have been interviewed in this period, and of the 6, 2 have been declined, and we've hired 4 for onboarding. When placed into the pie chart, you have 33% of the candidates that have been declined, and we have 67% of the candidates that have been accepted and hired out of the 6. Year to date, we now have 18 people that have been interviewed. 7 of those 18 have been declined, and 11 of those 18 have been accepted and hired. Looking at the pie chart, that is 61% of the 18 candidates have been hired, and 39% of the 18 candidates have been declined. So as you can see, by the use of a dashboard, we can quickly determine our performance over specified periods of time without sorting through tons of data. Yet the dashboard is but one beneficial feature of our tracking system. Equally as important is its automation. What you see here is the interview scheduling page, and what you have within the interview scheduling page is automated buttons, which will send the data from one sheet to the next. For instance, as seen here, again, we have the interview scheduling page, we have the onboarding page, we have the hired archives, and we have the total archives for both interviews and those that were hired. So we're going to go back now to the interviewing page. Each page contains a cell that has a formula, and the cell is located usually right here if you'll notice. Each cell again contains a formula that you can notice here in the formula bar. When you input the number 1 into column G, you'll notice that the number increases. At this point, there are also adjustments that are applied to the dashboard. Currently, there are 11 interviews based on this particular page. I'm going to go ahead and remove the extra ones. Well, the same thing applies to the other sheets as well. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and remove the contents from all of the pages. However, I would like to note that the content that you see here is all fictional. Okay, upon removing all of the content, when referring back to the dashboard, this is what you will see. For the sake of expediency, I've placed content on an outlying spreadsheet that I'm going to use to copy and paste onto the current interviewing schedule. You'll note here that once the numbers appear in the tally column, the formula was activated. At this point, if we were to refer over to the dashboard, it would be extremely distorted. Clearly, this is not what we're looking for. Why? Because we have 18 interviews, but no one was hired at this point. So we have a complete pie chart of red. So we're going to go ahead and go back over to the interviews page. And at this point, we're going to determine who is it that we're going to move forward with for onboarding. Since we have someone with my last name, I'm going to go with that person first. And I'm just going to click on several. So far, I've clicked on 3, including the person I just clicked on. So if we were to refer back over to the onboarding sheet, you can now see that there are 3 people that we are going to move forward with. So let's go back. And you'll notice that as I click on a person's name, the next person is highlighted based on the way the cell is going. I have that set automatically for that reason. However, you can clearly skip down to another person or whichever person you're selecting. And so I'm going to stop here. I think I may have gotten more than 8 people. Let's see. We're going to go back over to the onboarding page. And no, indeed, I have 7 people. So let's go back and get one more. And so let's revisit onboarding. And so now I have 8 people. So out of 18 interviews, we've selected 8 individuals for onboarding. So let's now look at the pie chart. According to the pie chart, based on the current period, for the 18 interviews that we've held, we've declined 56% and we're moving forward with 44%. That's 10 decline and 8 to move forward for onboarding. That is great information to know at a glance. Let's return now to the interviewing page, and we're going to proceed by moving the current interviews into the archives. Here you'll notice that I have a send to S archives, basically the summary of archives, summary of all actions taken. You'll notice that as I click on the names, the next one's highlighted. As the names are being highlighted, they're being moved automatically to the archives. So if I were to come over here and click on Summary Archives, I now have 18 people in the archives to be built upon over time. We're going to also now come over to the current onboarding, and we're going to click on those names as well to send to the hiring archive. These are all the people that were hired over the course of the year to date. And over time, again, this will be built upon as well. So let's look at the dashboard now. At this particular time, it is exactly the same, but over the course of the months to come, this is going to represent a much larger database as opposed to currently. And this is going to always be the current status. And that sums up what you need to know on how to use this automated tracking system, including the dashboard. However, we would like for you to note that at some point, you're going to have to add rows to the archive pages. Clearly, they're going to grow over time, and as it stands, they only are about just over 100 rows that are formatted. In order to continue this format, you would have to click within the area that is formatted and come to the ribbon and click on the insert icon and literally add. Make sure that the row is empty that you're clicking on and that it is within the formatted area, such as here. And as you can see, there are reminders here as to how to go about doing it. Also, you can create comments per person based on whatever thoughts you may have at the time. My advice would be to wait until you put the participant into the archive pages in order to create the comment. And when doing so, you would simply click on a person's last name. In this particular case, go to the Review tab. I have Microsoft Excel 365, which gives me a new comment as well as a note icon. Unfortunately, that may not be the case if you have just regular Excel 2016 or 2019. In this particular case, the preferred method would be the note box. So I'm going to click on the last name, and I'm going to click on the note icon, and I'm going to click on New Note, and you'll see here that I can stretch it and I can include notes, and those notes are going to always be there. In your case, you may have to click on the actual new comment and it'll give you the same box. So keep that in mind. So those are great features that will certainly come in handy. Being able to increase the rows without compromising the format, and being able to add comments or notes that will stay with that person when placed into the archives. If you're going to make changes, which you certainly can, please do not add columns in front of column G. If so, you're going to compromise the automated functions. Any columns that are to be added should be added behind column G, meaning starting from H going forward. Thank you.